everyone. Today we are going to be going through training for the AV Bridge Mini. I am Beth Peterson, product marketing here at Vaddio, and this is Steph Johnson. She's part of our applications engineering team and our training guru.
Yeah.
Get that AV Bridge Mini front and center.
There you go.
So today we're going to be talking about the AV Bridge Mini, and let's jump in.
Yes.
All right, so for those of you that are not familiar with Vaddio, we do more than PTZ cameras. We also have a whole AV Bridge family. So in addition to PTZ cameras and AV bridges, we also have whole USB collaboration solutions. So that's conferencing, video conferencing, where you've got cameras, audio, all together, out USB, so a whole portfolio in that area, as well as controllers and switchers. Production systems we have, and camera extensions. So Vaddio really started in camera extensions, and we have a lot of options there. But today we are focusing on the AV bridges. So whoever is new to Vaddio and new to AV and new to AV bridges, this slide is for you. So in a nutshell, an AV bridge takes pro audio and pro video, and it bridges, or it encodes to a USB signal and or IP stream. So I don't like to use the word bridge when I'm defining a bridge, but I just did it.
Bridge means bridge.
Bridge means bridge. So all in all, it's a great product, and our new AV Bridge Mini is both bridging to USB 3 and IP streaming.
Yes, simultaneously.
So where are AV bridges used? They are used everywhere.
Yes.
Wherever you want to put one, you just put it in. We sell bucket loads of AV bridges. And so some of our more popular applications are higher education, in lecture capture, video conferencing, government rooms of all sizes, also streaming live events. So one thing that this AV Bridge Mini, we're really focusing on the streaming capabilities of this little box here. But lots of higher ed, lecture capture, video conferencing.
Yes, and one of the things that I always like to emphasize about our AV Bridge is one of the reasons why it's kind of like the big thing in the industry and why it's in so many places is it was one of the first ones to be introduced in the industry. We've been making this for a very long time, and it just works. You know, we've had time to work out all the, making sure it works to all different kinds of computers and operating systems, and with all different kinds of soft clients and recording software. We use, standard drivers that already exist on a computer, so you don't need to install drivers for education clients. Sometimes they don't have admin rights on the laptop they're using to run the meeting. They don't need to plug something in and download a driver. They're just ready to go. So it's especially great for bring your own device style installs, and that's one of the reasons why it's been, one of the many reasons why it's just, we sell so many of them. By the bucket load, you said. That's a new unit of measure I wasn't familiar with.
By the bucket load, PCs, Macs, all of it. We're agnostic.
Yeah.
All right, so next is, why are we excited about the AV Bridge Mini? Tell me. I'm super excited about it.
Yes, so, we have the original AV Bridge, and we have the AV Bridge Conference, and they are great. But what we're bringing you today at the AV Bridge Mini is something that is newer, smaller, more powerful, and cheaper.
Less money.
Less money. And we were trying to make an analogy, I think, of what's like that.
Like the best sequel you can think of.
The sequel that's better than the original.
Right. And then was the ticket cheaper? It didn't work.
No, that doesn't. That's not how things go. So for that metaphor, that doesn't quite work. And then what the other one we were thinking of was a cell phone,
Cell phones.
where they get smaller, they get more powerful. They don't generally get less expensive, and also lately they've been getting bigger. So they got smaller and they got bigger again. So that metaphor fell.
So we kind of decided that the AV Bridge Mini is like the unicorn.
It's a unicorn.
AV bridges. Yes.
It's magical. It's a rare creature.
Yes. And we love it.
Yes.
It sparkles.
Yeah. It's very rare that you get something smaller, more powerful, cheaper.
Yes. So we'll get into
than
that.
the original.
Yeah. So 3 things you need to remember at the end of this training is that the AV Bridge and all AV bridges bridge audio and video into USB stream. Ours is USB 3 and IP simultaneously, so bridging. And that it's streaming both RTSP and RTMP, so RTMP being like the Facebook Lives and the YouTube Lives and the Periscopes and Twitter and Twitch and all that wonderful streaming services, which is perfect for where we're going in the market.
Yes.
And then the last thing is that it is less money, more powerful.
Yeah.
Pretty exciting.
That kind of describes itself. So we're going to get into the nitty gritty of the device. These are kind of the money shots, the front and the back.
beauty shot.
Right?
Good looking thing.
So we're going to start with the front. There's not a ton going on in the front, so we're going to be pretty quick about that, and then we're going to spend some time going over all the tech specs on the ports on the back, which is always my favorite part, because that's where the good stuff is. So starting with the front, we have 2 push buttons on the front. Those will light up, when the unit is live. I believe that they put out a nice blue light. The IP button, if you push that, it will overlay the IP address of your unit in the video of the AV Bridge Mini. So if you're looking at the USB stream and you want to figure out what the IP address is to get into the web interface or to find the IP stream, you would push that button, and then you'll get an overlay of your of the IP address of the unit on that video.
Okay.
And then also you have the ability to hold it down during power cycle if you want to do a factory reset. The reset button on the front is a way to give that unit a hard reset without having to go to the web interface to give it a reboot or to run around to the back of the rack and yank power. So that's what that button is available for, in case you want to give it a reset for anything. Audio and video back. We're going to start with those signals. We have a single video input. It is HDMI, and that can carry stereo audio, which those of you familiar with the AV Bridge conference might notice that that is a new feature. So HDMI video and stereo audio input. For audio inputs, we have 2 balanced microline in inputs available there. And then we do also have an audio playback on that USB 3. So that's not just an output, but it's capable of doing bi-directional audio for conferencing and things like that. So we're getting that audio back.
Yep.
Outputs. For the USB 3, we have video and stereo audio. We have simultaneous IP streaming with video and stereo audio. And then we have 2 local balanced audio outputs to run to, your DSP for acoustic echo cancellation, or kind of, wherever you would like to take that if you want, in-room sound reinforcement, things like that.
Okay.
Video resolution maximums per port. The HDMI input on the AV Bridge Mini is capable of accepting up to basically 4K, the 2160p.
I have this horrible grin because I get really excited when I see 4K.
4K.
4K! Woo! Sorry, that probably got a little loud there. But we have a lot of 4K products coming out in the near future with Vaddio, and so whenever I see 4K, I'm like, yes! We're taking it in.
Yeah, so our RoboShot 20 UHD camera, and our one-link HDMI and things like that are capable of passing, 2160p 30 video, and so that can, feed right into here. It's able to accept the, resolutions of our 4K products.
Yes.
Output on the USB, because we are using uncompressed YUV and we get the extra bandwidth of the USB 3 provides, we get up to 1080p 60 uncompressed video.
Super smooth.
Yes, super smooth. Beautiful video. And then 1080p 30 available over the IP streaming. We are using H.264 encoding in case you're curious about all that, but up to 1080p 30, and that is configurable in the web interface. We're going to start with control, and then we're going to add the power connections. Over the network, we are able to accept telnet commands, either from a third-party control device or, open up command prompts, send them from your computer, that kind of a thing. And then there's also a web interface that you can use to go through. If you're not familiar with our web interface on our products, it's very easy to use. You just type in the IP address of the unit in a browser URL bar anywhere on the same network as the device, and it opens up a web page that you can control the device from.
And this is the same experience for all audio products. So
yes, and you're gonna see some of those examples in a little bit here. I've got some web page walkthrough, but it's super easy. You don't have to download apps. Nothing's proprietary. You can't only use it on Chrome. It works on all browsers.
You
things
could
like that.
use it on your iPhone, on your iPad.
Yep.
Sorry, I'm a Mac.
Over USB, we do have HID control. So, if you adjust the volume in your connected computer, that can adjust volume in your AV Bridge Mini. That's something that we've offered on our AV Bridges for a long time, so it's offered here. And then you can turn that off if you don't want that control to happen on your device. But we do offer HID control available over the USB connection. And then a serial port for, if you have a third-party control device, again, wanting to do this. These are usually set and forget devices. You generally don't want to do a whole bunch of tweaking live, but if you do, it's available. For power, you might notice that this doesn't have a local power connector. It accepts PoE, not PoE plus.
It's not PoE plus.
A lot of our products are PoE plus, like our cameras, PoE plus plus in the case of our UHD big, heavy block cameras. This is because there's no motors that need to be driven. It's capable of being powered PoE, and a PoE injector does come with the unit, but if you did want to just hook this up to your switch that provides, just general PoE, you don't need one of the more powerful ones that will provide PoE plus or, worry about your wattage management on that kind of a thing, because PoE, very easy, nice and simple. And it also, makes it easy for remote install. So if you want to install it behind a TV or if you want to install it underneath a desk, that's a lot easier than when you have an 18-volt power supply that you need to put somewhere and then a cord you need to run up there.
And we have a great optional rack mount ears that can go under the table. Perfect for this product.
Yes. And then for power, on that balanced mic line input, we are capable of providing phantom power. So if you have a microphone that requires phantom power, you are able to connect that direct up. And again, people who are familiar with the AV Bridge and AV Bridge Conference might notice that that's some new features available there. So web interface. Here is kind of just a quick tour of the first page. When you log in AV Bridge Mini, you can see you're able to adjust your inputs specific to each one. You can adjust, input 1, input 2. Those can be left, right, or you can bring in 2 other sources if you would like. You have the ability to turn on and off AGC. You've got some filter options as well as the phantom power. And then there's an equalizer on the output. So you can really do some nice audio tweaking that is, again, some of these are newer features as compared to the original AV Bridge or AV Bridge Conference.
And it's really user-friendly where you can rename some of the sources, and so it's not just input 1, input 2, source 1. You can really customize this for the installation.
Yeah, you can see we've got 2 here. We've named them ceiling speakers and monitor speakers. That is not what they are named by default. That is something that we did in the web interface, so that's customizable for ease of use.
I just made that up. Do you like it?
I did.
Very creative.
Because we have a couple different audio signals coming in and there are a couple different places that you can route them, there's a very simple audio matrix where you can assign which cross points connect to which ones. Maybe you want your HDMI audio to only go to the IP stream and you want your balanced audio brought over USB. Here's where you can connect those and attenuate those specific cross points. Super easy to configure, but just tiny little audio matrix that an admin can configure on setup.
You can get as crazy as you want.
Yes.
Get creative.
Yes. And then I know we said earlier that we had, RTMP streaming as a new feature, but I mean, here it is. We're showing it to you.
Yeah.
Look, you can pick between RTSP and RTMP, and that RTMP is fantastic because it's one of the required signals for a lot of those services that Beth was mentioning. If you want to stream to, for example, Facebook Live, they require an RTMP stream. And with our previous products, you had to go through just an intermediary service to turn that RTSP into an RTMP, and here it's just in the box now.
Yeah, and you can save them there, and you can select which service you want. So you can store, I think it was up to 6 services in the web interface. So you can just pick where you need to go.
Yeah.
When you have to.
Yeah. Okay, so just kind of a refresher on the AV Bridge family in general. The AV Bridge Mini is going to be the most similar to our classic AV Bridge and AV Bridge Conference. It is probably the most similar to the AV Bridge Conference simply because it has that bi-directional audio, which is the differentiator between the regular AV Bridge and the Conference. So those are kind of the original 2, and this is going to be like those.
COG.
Yes, yes, the OG. We do want to make you aware that there are other members of the AV Bridge family. They are generally for slightly different applications. These are our larger switchers.
Yes.
Yes.
Lots of cameras.
Yes, the Matrix Pro is 4 cameras, video switching, and camera control. The Matrix Mix is up to 8 sources with keying and things like that. So those are
a fun one.
Yes, that is a very powerful little machine. Okay, so comparison.
Yes.
I said it was the most like the AV Bridge Conference, so let's compare them. Let's do an apples and apples. And I'm gonna go through and I'm gonna give a little like check next to the spots where, you know, the unit wins, whether it's the mini or the conference. So obviously with a half rack as compared to a full rack size, the mini wins on being much smaller and easier to fit in lots of different places, doesn't take as much of your rack space up. So much easier to fit behind stuff.
We're super creative with naming too. It's mini.
It wouldn't have been fair to call it mini if we hadn't made it significantly smaller.
Yes.
So I think half the size is, that qualifies as mini, right?
I think so.
And then for the next one, we upgraded our original USB 2, and now we have a USB 3. So we're capable of doing, instead of 720p 30, we can get up to 1080p 60,
high def and smooth.
Oh gosh, yes, it's a beautiful image.
Looking good.
And that is backwards compatible. I do often forget to mention that, but if you have a customer who comes in with only USB 2 ports, they can still plug into the AV Bridge. It will recognize and it will move that down, and you still get an absolutely beautiful image off of that. In fact, it's a larger resolution than most soft clients request anyway. So it is backwards compatible with 2.0 devices. Here we have something where the conference wins. Because it has more video inputs available. Now, you might notice that those inputs are all analog and things that people aren't really using anymore. So
But it has them.
It has them, yes. So if you absolutely need analog component to go into your computer, we still sell the AV Bridge Conference, and we still will.
And at the time of this recording, we are still selling the AV Bridge Conference and AV Bridge.
Yes. So there's that, but then you might also notice that the HDMI port itself is definitely improved on the AV Bridge Mini, because this time it's able to carry stereo audio, whereas with the original 2, that was video only. So, you know, if you wanted to bring in something from like a larger switcher that had an audio mix in it, kind of no dice, you had to split that out and run that in your inputs. And now you don't have to. So much easier. So much better. Also, the original, at the time it was made, the chips we were using, we could get an IP stream or a USB stream, not both, but it is 2018.
People are so excited about this.
Gosh,
I get both? Yes.
Yes.
You get both.
You can use the USB to record or stream. You can use the IP to remotely view or manage, or to do the live streaming, and then the USB to do the archived recording.
Yes. So many options.
Both. You get both.
Both. Okay.
Again, PoE powered, obviously superior to a local power supply, more universal. You know, in case your power supply gets lost, you know, it's so much easier to replace. It's not proprietary.
Correct.
Things like that. Here we have another spot where the conference just ekes out a little bit higher. It had the option for balanced or unbalanced audio. Now, obviously, you can bring unbalanced audio into the AV Bridge Mini. You just got to get your cable in a little bit different. But that AV Bridge Conference had those native unbalanced ports. So that's kind of the difference. Again, with audio though, the AV Bridge Mini obviously is superior because it has the option for both mic and line level inputs with that phantom power available, whereas the AV Bridge Conference required line level inputs, so you would have to put a preamp ahead of something if you had just a microphone. So again, saving some money. Flexible. It really is. And then obviously, this is a really important part here. It's cheaper.
It's cheaper.
Significantly cheaper.
Yes. You're welcome.
Yeah. I love to be able to do that.
Yeah.
Just
How
feels
much
so
is it going
nice.
to be?
Less. So we have a comparison chart here.
Don't go through this.
No, we're not going to go through every single little thing, but if you want to pause and take a look at all the specs here, we do also have it available as a downloadable flyer on our website if you would like to take a look at it there. But here's the information if you would like it.
All right, let's pause and drink our coffee.
Okay.
And then they can
Oh, that's good.
look at all those speeds and feeds.
Yes.
Okay, moving on. This is one of my favorite slides because based on the features and pricing lineup, you've got the AV Bridge Mini in the lower right-hand quadrant, which means that it is a lower price with more features.
Yes.
Best location to be in. So,
We're hammering that home, but it is really, I mean,
just if you didn't get it, I had to show it visually.
no, but I mean, like,
There it is.
Yeah.
So now, part numbers, price, and what's in the box. So we know that this video is going out to lots of people, and so I can't include everybody's price because that would just get confusing. So the MSRP on this is $20.55, which we've kind of notated in slides before. The part numbers here are listed, and you can see everything that comes in the box. One thing that I do want to call out, though, is that it does ship with the rack mounting kit, which previous half-rack units did not. So this is a rack mounting kit to put the AV Bridge Mini in a full rack space.
Right, and so you can see that here it's got kind of a little longer rack blank there. We do have dual mounting kits if you would like to fit another Vaddio half-rack unit next to this, and that's available as an optional buy.
And also the under table mount, we have that available too. But what's shipping in the box when you buy this part number is the list you see right here. So let's go into some diagrams.
Okay, now these are going to be pretty simple, especially for those of you that are familiar with our AV Bridge line. Basically, we're taking an HDMI source in, whether that be from a larger mixer or a camera source directly. And then we are connecting one of our streaming outputs, in this case USB, to a computer to take it out to the cloud, whether that's, you know, recording, streaming, whatever, distribution. So we have a simple lecture capture one here. We have just a camera source coming in HDMI. We have a wireless mic coming in over the audio. We're taking that USB to a computer to send that out to record to capture that lecture. Lecture capture.
Simple lecture capture.
Yes. Similarly, RTMP streaming. You're going to see the exact same configuration for your hardware up top, but in this case we are IP streaming to a service, be that live stream, YouTube, Facebook Live, etc. And a thing to keep in mind is that you can do these simultaneously.
And if you just want to do RTMP, you are taking out that laptop.
Yes. Yeah. Permanent install. Very simple. In this case, we have Vaddio Ceiling Easy Mics to a Easy Mic I/O. You can bring your return audio back into that AEC reference if you need it on that box to do that acoustic echo cancellation. And then we have USB 3 on there going to like a dedicated small form factor computer, like a Nook or something. Yep. And then out to, are you using it for conferencing? Are you using it for capture? All of it works. So there we go. So once again, the three things, just to drive it home again, we are bridging audio, professional video to USB or an IP stream. The stream options we have RTSP and RTMP.
RTMP.
Less money, more powerful.
So I want to talk about the AV University real quick. So you're probably watching this in AV University on legrandav.com, or maybe you're watching it on YouTube. We don't know where you're watching this, but recommend that you do go to legrandav.com in the training section of the website, and there are a lot of courses that you can take there to get CTS credits and also just learn about new products from all the brands that Legrand AV has. So we've got Chief, Daylight, Projecta, Vaddio, Middle Atlantic, Luxel, C2G. We've got lots of content out there for you to continue learning. So
yes,
I guess one more thing I wanted to share with you is how Vaddio is different. So for those of you new to Vaddio, we have roots in Pro AV and integration. We make technology work. We make technology easy.
Yes.
We're made in the USA, TA, and Buy America compliant. You make here in Minnetonka, Minnesota.
Here.
Yes, by people that eat cheese curds and like Prince a lot. Yeah.
And it gets very snowy and cold in just a little bit here.
Yes, actually, right now.
Let's not end that on a sour note.
Okay, and that we have an amazing technical support team here.
Yes.
So the best in the business is if you have any questions or you need support, we have applications engineering like Steph, we have technical support team, and then an excellent warranty. So all around, we're friendly folks, and we know Pro AV, and we know video plus audio, Vaddio, and thank you for joining the session.
Yeah.
We'll see you next time.